Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Hart. Today I'll be breaking down the Game 4 showdown slate here on DraftKings for the Nuggets versus Miami NBA Finals. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I'll be going over my favorite captain plays, my favorite utility plays, all the good stuff in this video. Some ways to get different, some ways to kind of beat the chalk, all the good stuff. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Check out my PrizePicks video after this, and let's get into the breakdown. So as it currently stands right now, the Nuggets are favored by 3.5 points, and the over under or the game total is 211. So it's dropped down even more from game three. And especially since game one. Game one at Denver, it was like 219 game total. Now it's dropped all the way down to 211, which is pretty significant in terms of just game total. Um, just going from Denver to Miami. So they're expecting to be even less scoring than it was in game three. So keep that in mind. But obviously, it doesn't mean that's going to happen. But most of the time, Vegas is right. But starting off here with the Denver side, we'll go over to the utility price tags for all these guys. Jokic, as I said, it was surprising to see he's only 18% owned as a captain in the uh, the big tournament, like this 250K to first for game three. Surprised he wasn't a little bit more. I know he is pretty pricey, so it is kind of hard to get him in there with other people you do feel good about. So as of right now, I still think he's just a utility play for me. You can definitely put him in captain, as we know. He has massive upside, as you can see, went for 80-point triple double. And the big news for this Denver side here is that Jokic and Murray are pretty much going to be playing 45 minutes a game, 44 to 45. Mike Malone kind of joked about the fact that he's like, "Oh, I think I found something with playing Jokic the whole second half." Excuse me, and it kind of worked out. He played 44 minutes. He's kind of averaging close to 42. Played 2 to 3 extra minutes in this game here, which pretty much was him sitting out in the second half. Now he's not. They won the game, and they did the same with Jamal Murray. They played him extended minutes. He played 45. He was actually playing super solid, but still, I do think we can expect at least 44, 45 minutes from Jokic and Murray each. They're not going to rest at all. So I do like these guys a lot here at their price tags. MPJ, I think he's a great contrarian option. You just gotta have, you gotta throw the past games in the trash. He's a guy that can easily go for 40 plus fancy points, as we can see. He went for that 41 in game five, game four of the Lakers series. Went for almost 40 in game one of this series. So we know the upside is there. So I do not rule him out just because he's been terrible the past two games. 2 of 8, 1 of 7. He can come out, hit his first two shots. He can grab a couple rebounds. He can go for 40 fantasy points. So I still really like the upside for MPJ, especially if he's gonna be super low owned. I like going right back to the wall with him, even though he burned me last slate. Aaron Gordon, more of a contrarian play. Was actually pretty solid last game as a playmaker, 11, 10, and 5 with a steal. I think he's a fine play there, 6,600, just more of a contrarian play for me. KCP, another guy who I like buying low on. The minutes were there, 28. Usually he sees closer to the mid 30s. 1 of 4 past two games, can't hit his threes, but I expect to bounce back for a guy who's usually a pretty solid 3-point shooter. So I do like KCP a lot. If he hits his first two shots, he will get extended. So him and MPJ look great tonight as like low owned contrarian plays that not a lot of people are going to want to get to. I do like Bruce Brown a lot as well. 1 of 5. He played 29 minutes, which is kind of extended for him. He hasn't played that many minutes since the third game of that Lakers series, but we know the upside with him. It's pretty similar to Aaron Gordon, but it just comes down to can he get the minutes. It helps if guys getting foul trouble, which KCP did. MPJ was playing bad, so they went to Bruce Brown off the bench, and they also went to Christian Brown because of the KCP foul trouble and him playing bad, and MPJ just playing bad overall. So those minutes went to Christian Brown. I don't know if we can expect him to get in 15 minutes, go for 17 fantasy points, and then 19 minutes, go 7 of 8, go for 15 real life points, 23 fantasy points. I think he's an okay play. I think he'll get maybe 10 minutes. If KCP stays out of foul trouble, MPJ stays out of foul trouble, or is actually shooting the ball well, they're not going to go straight to Christian Brown. They're just going to leave those guys in. So I think Christian Brown maybe gets 10 minutes. The only reason you're playing him is you just hope that someone gets in foul trouble or someone's shooting bad between KCP and MPJ or even Bruce Brown, foul trouble. then Christian Brown's going to get those minutes. But otherwise, his minutes are not a guarantee. It's just kind of happened in the past 2 games that MPJ has been terrible. KCB's been shooting bad, and it's really worked out for Christian Brown. And it's one of those things, he's not really shooting the ball. He's just getting a ton of layups. So for that reason alone, I just think he's more of an okay play. He'll be super, super popular. I think he'll be just, I think he's too forced. I just don't think he's at the best play. He's very low or very low salary, so it definitely helps you there. But still, I don't think you need to do it. But if you want to, you can. Jeff Green should play mid-teens minutes. It's just he's not very productive. So you can definitely take a shot for salary relief, but I just don't think there's a need to. On the Miami side, I like going back to the well with Jimmy. A very quiet 28 points, did absolutely nothing with the peripheral stats, 2 rebounds, assists, and a block. That's 50% less what his average is. So frustrating there because I also played him last slate and just did nothing for me. Played him in played him on PrizePicks, did absolutely nothing. Super frustrating, but I love going back to the well with him. Not really sure what's going on with him. He just hasn't been the same. I think his averages have dropped down like 4 to 5 points every playoff series so far. He started off with 38 points per game in that first series there against Milwaukee, and then has just completely fallen down to like I think he's averaging like 20 points per game right now. So yeah, not looking too great for Jimmy, but we know the upside is there with him. So I still really like him. Bam has been playing unbelievably well. I'm not sure if this continues. They're kind of letting him do whatever. He's been a solid playmaker for them when he gets the ball up top. So I still think the upside is there, 50, 40, and 51. So if you think he stays out of foul trouble, Bam still looks like a very solid play, but there is still that foul trouble risk. So I still will say pump the brakes a little bit. Caleb Martin, another one of those guys, along with like Bruce Brown and PJ, that I do really like in the mid range, 6,200. Finally played the minutes, 32. Pretty solid game, 22 fantasy points. So I like him once again. I do think this price tag will keep a lot of people away, but he does have some solid upside. And he was battling with the illness that not a lot of people know in the first 2 games. So he didn't play much. Was not the best out there when he got those minutes, but now he looks like he's a little bit back. So I do like him. Gabe Vincent, solid play. I'm assuming he'll still be popular. Went for 33, 33 the first 2 games. Letdown game, 2 of 10. But we know if he hits his shots and he stays out of foul trouble, he will see 30 plus minutes. So he's a solid play. Tyler Hito's still out. Kyle Lowry, a decent play. He did get extended because of Gabe Vincent foul trouble. But he's a solid point per minute guy all around. So he should see mid 20s minutes, 4,600. Definitely decent play. And then Struess and Robinson, it just comes down to can they hit their shots? If they can, then they're viable. But if you don't think one of them is going to hit their shots, then they're both out of play for me. Kevin Love, another decent play. I'd rather go to him than Christian Brown, even though Christian Brown has been more productive recently. It's just 16 minutes for Kevin Love just wasn't the most productive. I don't mind going back to him. But as you can see right now, still there's not a lot of salary relief. You really do have to start taking shots on cheaper guys if you want to have a more star-studded lineup. So I'm thinking of going more with balanced build today. Right now, for my captain spot, it's gross, but I think I'm going to go back to the well here with MPJ, even though he absolutely burned me and destroyed me in that last slate. Obviously, we're going to be playing Jokic. That's obvious. So I'm not going to even include him in this part right here. But we'll go to 2 other guys I do really like are Caleb Martin and trying to decide between KCP and Bruce Brown. Um, I'm leaning towards KCP, but I do like Bruce Brown, just how active he is defensively, offensively. So I think I'm going to lean towards Bruce Brown. And those are going to be the 3 core plays for me as of right now, the core plays. If you guys want my official core plays later today, make sure to check out my Patreon link down below. So that's the video so far today. Hope you guys like it. Check out my PrizePicks video after this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.